How's it going, guys? So this is Josue, and I'm back here with another video on Hear Me Raw. And today I want to talk about being an ex-vegan, because I am an ex-vegan. If you do not know already, I'm an ex-vegan, and I was a vegan for almost 5 years. At the 4 year mark, I kind of noticed that maybe something was up. I think at the 4 year mark, I started questioning things. I was like, I never got a vegan tattoo. I never got a vegan tattoo, and I know there's a reason why. I know my subconscious mind, my intuition was telling me that something was off, and my family was also telling me that something was off, but I wasn't listening. Because when you're in vegan mode, you don't listen to other people saying other things. You don't listen to that. You especially when you do it for the animals, man. When you do veganism for the animals, because I did it for the animals. I was not dealing with any major health issues before going vegan, so I did it for the animals. And the fact that it was supposed to be healthy was a benefit. So like, why not? And I preached this diet to everybody, to so many people. And along the way, people came to me, and I started noticing that people's health were failing. Their mental health were failing, especially the activists. If you're a vegan activist, man, you gotta take care of your mental health. You got to, because if you stay sitting there looking at those videos all the time, playing them over and over again, I would see some people literally just watching those videos. I'm like, you've seen that video already. Why you keep on watching it? Why you keep traumatizing yourself over and over and over again? Are you in love with trauma? Are you in love with pain? Do you love to suffer? A lot of people in this world do love to suffer, and they're suffering willingly. You look at religion, it's like they make a thing. It's like you get to wear a badge of honor for suffering. You get a badge of honor for killing yourself. That's not the case. We do not need to kill ourselves. I'm learning about this through yoga, through not wasting our energy, through finding a way to do things efficiently. People out in nature, people are doing things effectively, and people, animals are doing things efficiently. They're listening to their intuition. They're listening to their bodies. They're listening to their gut. Veganism, if you do it for the animals, essentially you can go against your gut. You can go against your body, because you're following an ideology. You're no longer following your own mind, your own body, what you're feeling. You're listening to an ideology. When I went vegan, I did it overnight by listening to Vegan Gains, and I watching that video by Gary Roski. I went vegan overnight. I didn't even think about it. Like, sometimes I have a hard time making decisions, but after like I watched the videos and everything like that, like I'm like, yo, this is it. This is what's been missing. I felt like something was wrong with the world, and this is it. This is why people are raping. This is why rape is so common. This is why people are so disrespectful to women, because we're raping these cows. We're doing all this. We're doing all that. I was preaching that. Trust me, I was probably one of the best vegan salesmen out there. And I never fully made a vegan business out of it, because I know my subconscious mind was telling me that something was up. It didn't feel right. I don't do things for money. I don't do things for fame. I don't do things for clout. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I did it for the animals, but along the way, man, that stuff, it does feed your ego. You start to think that you're better than everybody else. You start to think that the whole world is doing things wrong, but there's a lot of things that's really wrong with that, because the majority of the world is not vegan, and if the majority of the world, like, if you really think that they're evil, satanic individuals, then how about you try not to do anything that's promoted by them? Because you got all these meat eaters here supporting the lifestyle of vegans. There are a lot of meat eaters that are the farmers that are growing their foods and things like that, that are make sure their products get to the stores. If you're a vegan trying to make it work, your products need to come from pretty much all around the world. There's no way you can be vegan and actually sustain yourself with everything that's just around you. So like back in the day, we used to eat what was around us, and now we got technology. We can find things everywhere. You got all these freaking powders. I spent so much money on supplements, things that were not even really working. So it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. And like I said, the most dangerous thing about it is the ethics, the ideology. To think that meat is bad for your health, which is not the case. There's really no good or bad. It just all depends. Meat can be really good for you, and plants can be really good for you. Sometimes plants can be really bad. I remember along the way, when I was raw, and I met this lady, and she was allergic to a bunch of fruits. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm over here preaching this raw lifestyle, but she can't eat it because she's allergic to fruit. So what do you do when you run into that? What do you do when you run into somebody that's got health issues, and they're on a vegan diet, and because of the allergy, they cannot see their way out of it? That's dangerous. You do the research, you see that veganism, can lead to infertility and things like that. So dealing with hormonal health, like, I have like a list of things that, like, if you watch these ex-vegan interviews, man, they're dealing with some serious shit. And these are the people that are brave enough to speak out, because in the vegan community, if you leave, it's like a cult. If you leave, like, it's so hard. Like, people will come at you, people will attack you. I remember when I was vegan, I would make posts about veganism and stuff like that, and I know I'd be good because I would post it, some meat eaters would get triggered and they would say something, and like a lot of things that they said were valid, but I had all my vegan followers on Facebook and they would just attack them. They would, and sometimes they would say nasty things. I don't appreciate nasty things being said, whatever side that you're on. But when I was a vegan, I didn't mind the nasty things being said towards the meat eaters so much, because for me, I felt like they were in the wrong. And now I'm realizing that I was in the wrong. And it's hard to admit that you're wrong. It's hard to admit that you made a mistake, but sometimes you got to do that. And I really applaud you, John Venus. I really applaud you for doing that, because I saw your interview with Vegan Gains after you had tried eggs. You tried eggs, and he got you an interview. He's trying to shame you and guilt you for doing something like that. I'm just like, what gives people the right to do this? Like, we have people running around online, starting whole movements that don't have any background in order to do so, but they're guilting, they're shaming people. There's bullying. There's so much bullying going on, and I took part of it. I became a bully. I'm doing fighting against bullying, and I became a bully without even knowing it. I was making fun of people, and just for the sake of veganism, because I'm saying it for the health, and that shit affected every aspect of my life, and I didn't realize it because I was really doing it for the animals, and because I didn't do it for my health, I didn't pay attention to when like health issues came up. Right after going vegan, I dealt with kidney stones, and I'm not the only one that went through that. I thought it was because I was eating processed foods and whatnot, but maybe it was because I was having all those carbs, but I didn't have the fat, I didn't have the nutrients in the meat to really propel me, And I used to say this whole thing about fruit being the optimal food for humans, and how like fruits is mostly water and we're mostly water, but guess what? We have muscle, tendons, we have ligaments, we have all these things. So the cartilage, the collagen from the animal products are actually beneficial to humans, man. Like I would say that I would never go vegan. I mean, I would never leave veganism. Like I used to say that I'd be vegan for life. Like that was my thing. It was my Bible. Like I threw away the Bible, and veganism became my Bible. And growing up with a religious background and having that kind of like brainwashing happen to you, once you believe something like that, you kind of take onto it and you hold on to it. So that was my Bible. I was living and dying by veganism. And I remember one time I was leaving an event, and like one of my friends, like right before we got into the elevator, he looked at me like, I would stay on this diet even if it kills me. And and he's no longer vegan at this point. And when he told me that, I'm like, I resonated, and it shook me, because part of me believed the same thing, because I wasn't feeling my best. I was not feeling my best, and I had no idea that it was about the diet. I was thinking that maybe it was about stress, maybe it's everything going on. I'm older now. I got more things to deal with. People around me are starting to die now. I haven't really been dealing with death in my life, but that's happening. I'm having more responsibility. My parents are getting older, so a lot of stuff is going on. Not to mention all this coronavirus and all this. So a lot of stuff is going on. So I'm thinking maybe it's just the stress. Maybe I've not been moving around enough. Maybe I've not been doing proper posture. I started like checking to make sure I'm walking correctly, checking to make sure I'm bending correctly. Dealing with joint pain all over, not knowing what it was. Tried all the superfoods. Nothing would help. Nothing. It got to the point where like plant foods literally was just like the nastiest thing. Like I would not want it. I was at a raw vegan Thanksgiving, and like the food was so nasty to me. Like this is not food. Like I need food. I need substance. I was just like hungry all the time and never feeling satiated until I added animal products back in my diet. And there was this nightmare after adding animal products in my diet. I was just laying in bed, and my body felt so happy. My body was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was like jumping and giggling, And like I said, when I first went vegan overnight, like I literally, the next day I had dreams about eating meat, and I'm thinking like, oh my god, like meat is so bad for you that when you leave it, you start dreaming about it. And then the next day after that, I dreamt about eating my brother. That was more cannibalistic, but like, so that actually made me even want to go vegan more, like, because that made me think, oh, me being vegan, that means I'm gonna be eating like people. I'm eating my brother. I'm a cannibal. Whatever. So that actually made me want to stay vegan even more. But upon experiencing things, upon seeing so many people are failing on it, and like I said, it's only a small portion of people speaking out, because the backlash that you receive, some people's careers could end because of this, and when you are so passionate about veganism, and you attach it to your platform, and now it's affecting your health, and now you don't want to let people down. And it can be harmful to be online and to be looking at these comments and look at these things being said about you. Like when I posted that I'm no longer vegan, like I got so much hate, and like a lot of it I didn't read, but at one point I did read some of it. I'm not gonna lie, I shed a couple tears, and like it sucks. it sucks to have spent like the last 4.5 years, almost 5 years of my life, sharing this movement, having potlucks. I didn't charge for these potlucks. I had potlucks, vegan potlucks, and they were far from me. Like they were 40 minutes away from where I live. Now, I would have them once a month. I would go to other vegan events. I would promote it. I did Genomics for the Voice. I did all of that, and then these guys want to go and hate on me for making changes, and they're hating on all these people too when they don't really know what they're going through. But if you're wearing the vegan goggles, if you're blinded by the vegan agenda, then anybody that says anything else is stupid to you. So I commend you, John Venus, for making your move, man. And I think it's gonna help a lot of people. You have way more followers than I do, so they're gonna see that. My heart goes out to like the young people that see this because YouTube is so big, and so anybody can go on a phone right now, start talking about the benefits of veganism, and talk about how they're feeling good. But you know what? There's a lot of vegans that will still preach the message, and while they're not feeling good, if you look at me, like as definitely as I started to notice that my health was deteriorating, I was not posting so much. I was not posting so much, and I started to kind of change my message up a little bit. I started to notice, like, you know what, like I'm not even trying to get people to go vegan anymore. Like, just eat less animals and make sure that you're getting stuff sourced ethically, like better. So we the things that we have in this world can be improved. And I feel like veganism is trying to abolish a lot of things. And one thing that's really scares me is that, so now that I've realized that animal products can be beneficial to our health and sometimes downright necessary to our health, if the vegans have their way, we will be dealing with lab grown meat, which is not the real thing. We know that what God creates is better than what we could create. We are not going to be able to create a replacement for real meat. We're like real grass fed meat and real dairy, like from cows that are eating grass, that are eating the food that's natural to them. We will not be able to survive of lab grown meat. We're definitely not going to be able to survive of those vegan meats at all, because those are not food. Those do not satiate me at all. They're a poor example. They do not compare at all to the real thing. And any vegan that wants to tell you that they do compare to the real thing, they're just lying to themselves. They're just lying to themselves. Because I was without meat for almost 5 years, and having it again, it's no comparison. It's no comparison. For me, like right now, meat has been like the most natural thing that I've actually consumed in my body for a while, and my body has been thanking me for it. A lot of my joint pain is just like gone. Feeling energy. I'm feeling human again. I'm feeling compassion. I'm crying even more than I was, and I'm reconnecting. It's like my brain's reconnecting, my brain's activating, my body's activating, my cells are activating. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so fucking good. And I'm just wish that I have not done a lot of damage. So my heart goes out to the young people that are, watching these influencers, and just know that you cannot believe everything that you see online. People are telling lies. People are telling lies all the time. People want to look good. People don't want to admit their mistakes. They don't want to admit that they're wrong. People want to feel like they know everything. Whatever they want, they just do a little Google search on it. Oh no, I have the answer. I know everything. It's in the pocket of my hands. But that's bullshit. It's bullshit. And then yeah, so like we think we want to know everything, but that's not the case. And then science, um, they'll bring science in order to defend their case, but science is experimental. Science is not finite. Science is not complete. Like, science is like they're always trying to figure out what's going on. And also too, there's biases in science. Like in order to have a study made, you need a lot of money. You need a lot of money to have a study made. So, and if you put a lot of money to have a study made, you're gonna want that study to have the outcome that you would like. So you can't really trust science. So anybody can cherry pick studies and say, oh, this is why this is why I'm doing this and doing that and doing this. This is why veganism is good for all stages of life. But which I honestly, I truly do not believe. I believe that was stated by the World Health Organization, which is backed by Bill Gates, who wants to vaccinate everybody. They're trying to vaccinate people for the corona, and they want to just vaccinate people in general. And Bill Gates, to me, I cannot trust that man. I do not trust that man at all. And he backs the World Health Organization. And even Trump, as crazy as he is, he does not. He said nope. Like, I'm not. He cut funding to the World Health Organization. So that should tell you something. So if vegans are gonna continue sharing that message from the World Health Organization, how are they gonna ignore it and not tie it to the fact that it's all like Bill Gates backs it, and Bill Gates also supports fake meat as well, and Bill Gates also supports depopulation. And for me, like with a lot of things, with how veganism can affect your hormonal health, so it can affect your ability to have children. That's crazy, man. If you have this thing that can affect people's ability to have children, and that could fuck up their children, Like, do you really just want to preach that and just put that out there and get like kids to do it, and you want to do it to your kids, and you want teenagers out there to do it, to go on this diet? You want to ruin people's lives? Are you sure you want to do that? Like, for me, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with sharing a message about that because of all the risks that are in there. And to have seen people close to me also fail on the diet, to have seen them go from like up here to like here, to the point where like just like it's like they're almost going in their eyes. Like, you can fuck yourself up on this. And then the whole spirituality thing that's going on, a lot of people are starving themselves. A lot of people are doing like crazy fasts and doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, for me, I never went that crazy with it. I did some intermittent fasting and everything like that, but no juice fasting for me, no water fasting for me. Like, because I've seen people come out of that shit and they look like zombies. They look like zombies, and I'm not about that. So I always, I listen, I watch, I pay attention, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna listen to my body, and I think you should listen to your body too. And what makes this so hard is that, like, we have lost faith in the pharmaceutical industry because they do a lot of shady shit, and we have lost faith in the healthcare system. And as a black man myself, we've seen what happens. Like, they think that we don't feel pain like other people. Like, and it goes back to slavery. And that's another thing in the vegan world. They do not focus on black issues at all. A lot of vegans will say the all lives matter thing, and because they want to include the animals, and they just want to forego black people. They just want to forego all that. So that's not cool either. But that, yeah, in hospitals, they black patients do not get the care that they need, and because they think they don't feel pain, and that goes back to slavery because they used to whip them and see that, and so they had to kind of like find a way to make themselves be okay to see um, the black people being in that pain without thinking it was so bad. So now in the hospital systems, black people are getting killed. So especially black people, especially like if I'm dealing with this kind of stuff, you think I want to go to the hospital? So I can't trust the hospital. I can't trust my doctor. I can't trust pharmaceuticals. And what do I have? And all I had was veganism. And if I was not thinking that veganism was causing my issue, then I literally was just thinking I had so much other shit, and I do not want people to go through that. So that's why I share my message, man. And like I said, it's not about the cloud. If I lose followers, I lose followers. But I'd rather lose followers than have people lose their lives over some advice that I give. That's why I've blocked a lot of my old videos, and have even considered deleting my Instagram because I'm too lazy to go back and delete all the vegan posts that I made. Um, but yeah, that's how I feel right now. That's how I feel right now, and I'm not down to like argue. Do not send me any studies about anything whatsoever. Like, I've experienced this in my life. I've seen it in the people around me. I have enough evidence for me in my life to say that I'm never going vegan again. That's period. I love you all, man. Take care of yourself. Remember, take everything that you hear with a grain of salt, experience it for yourself, and always keep a little space. Keep a little space for yourself. Keep it like that allows you to change. Keep an open mind. Do not lock yourself into anything, and I mean anything. Keep a little space just so you have a little bit of wiggle room to make some changes, and surround yourself with people that are gonna give you that room to make changes. That are gonna love you unconditionally. Because clearly, a lot of the friends that I thought that I had were not really my friends, and that's okay. That's cool. I love you guys.